She was trained in London and Edinburgh.
Yeah, and you know, she agreed with me about some of the major schools, where some of the big successes in school are students who learn how to succeed in the school. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to succeed in the musical world. It's like a lot of the big stars at Juilliard don't make it as well as people who weren't big stars, went to Juilliard and went out and worked. What I try to do is find out what the kid is trying to do and help them achieve that. Consequently, none of my kids sound the same. Yet Jennifer Culp, who is a former student of mine, who teaches graduate students at the conservatory, she said, you know, kids come in and they always mention as their teacher the last teacher they had at the conservatory at college or something of the sort. She said, I always recognized Milly's students. She always did, so they were so different. And she said there was a sort of musical ease that we knew we had to teach the other kids, that they already had, no matter what level they were at. And I thought, my, I can die happy with that sort of praise. I'm so grateful that it worked out well. Look at the number of kids I have who went into music professionally and very successfully, you know. And I'm thinking of groups of them. I have 3 of them there, David and Christo and Lucas Cheng, who did extension work at school, were in the same workshop. And I have, you know, their pictures. But above that, there was Emil and Julie Feldman and Tanya Tompkins, you know, who's a marvelous Baroque cellist. And I have a funny story to tell you about that. I heard a recording that Tanya made of the 3rd Beethoven Sonata on the radio, and I called her up, and I said, Tanya, it was wonderful. You know, I've always associated you with Baroque music. It was so nice to hear you do that. She said, I thought you called about something else. Tanya apparently, in an interview, said, I was the most important person in her musical life. And, you know, I just never knew that I meant that much to her. And I told this to a friend of mine who's my age, and he said, Milly, very often mentors don't realize the effect they have on students. And, you know, here am I at 85 saying, I don't feel like a mentor. And he said, why not? I said, I don't feel old enough. Now, here was a man who was reared in a church. His father was the organist at this church in England. And, you know, he was reared in a church with church music, and I'd call him up and say, Colin, is the rabbi in? And he'd say, yes. You know, that's bits of advice he gave me, which was fantastic. I was telling him about a part in a Beethoven sonata, a cello and piano sonata, and I said, this makes me uncomfortable. You know, what can I do to make... He said, well, what makes you think that you're supposed to feel comfortable with everything that Beethoven did? Sometimes it's supposed to have that ragged edge. And that relieved me of so much. That taught me so much. I don't perform. You know? I don't raise kids. You know? I know these kids... I'm not their mother. I know this full well. I think the hardest job in the world is being a parent. And I'm very loath to criticize parents for the mistakes they make. It's just, you know, it's such a difficult job.